Hello there and welcome to Talk on Nevada. I'm Andy Matthews, your host. What is your government up to? That's the question we're going to tackle on this week's program. And with me to help answer it is Victor Joecks, Deputy Communications Director at the Nevada Policy Research Institute. Victor, welcome.
Thanks, Andy. It's good to be here.
Victor, you've got a commentary out this week that addresses the issue of government transparency. Why is transparency important?
Well, Andy, transparency is one of the most important things that our government can do because the government isn't an entity that's working for itself. A government is an entity that's working for the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. And it doesn't do a lot of good if the people don't know what's going on with their government. And so transparency is one of those issues that everyone should be able to come around and agree and say, yeah, the government should be able to tell us, the people, what they're doing with our money.
Well, for transparency enthusiasts out there, sort of give the lay of the land here in Nevada. How transparent is Nevada government?
Unfortunately, Nevada's government isn't transparent really at all. The best thing we had happened about 17 months ago when Governor Gibbons promised to put Nevada's checkbook online, which would have been outstanding. The federal government did this a couple of years back. It was sponsored by Senator Coburn and then Senator Barack Obama. And they basically did just that. They put the checkbook online and they said, where's the money going? Who's the money going to? And Governor Gibbons promised to do the same thing. And they have kind of a shell of a website up right now, but it doesn't include a lot of the really important things, grants, contracts, those information, so people can see kind of where the money is allocated, but they can't actually see who it's going to.
Well, so they say they're going to go and make government more transparent. Now they're not doing it. What's the holdup here?
Well, unfortunately, the problem is financial. I talked with the Department of Administration, and they said they've got the approval from the governor's executive order. They actually have the information available to post online. What they don't have is the funding for the grants, the contracts, and the salaries. And they said it's going to cost about $250,000 to put that information online, but that they just didn't get the funding from the governor, from the legislature. None of Nevada's elected politicians in the budget we just passed put just that minuscule amount of $250,000 in there. If you want to look at that in kind of perspective from what the budget that they passed, the legislature passed a $6.9 billion budget over 2 years that included $1 billion in tax increases, and they couldn't find room for $250,000. And to put that in perspective, if you had $1 million, that'd be like saying you couldn't afford something that was less than $40. So the money could have been there had they wanted it to be there.
Okay, well, so it's not an enormous amount of money, but at the same time, people on the right who come at things from a limited government and free market perspective, people like you are always saying we need to watch every penny. We need to be really frugal with public money. So isn't there a little bit of a inconsistency there in terms of where you're coming at in this? I mean, they're trying to save money. They're saying we're not going to spend this money, we don't have it. What's the problem?
Andy, while we're big fans of government being responsible for even the smallest amount of the people's money, transparency is of the highest priority and needs to be the first thing government funds, not something they fund after they've funded all of their pork projects. And their claim that they just couldn't find $250,000 for this is laughable, and here's why. They put in $500,000, twice as much money, into the budget for a tax study. Governor Gibbons vetoed the funding for the tax study. And Senator Raggio of the Interim Finance Committee, which is a whole other issue, said, you know what, we're just going to fund the tax study out of Interim Finance Committee money, out of contingency funds. So that's twice they found twice as much money as they would have needed to make Nevada's checkbook, put Nevada's checkbook online.
And what's the goal of that tax study? Why are they conducting this?
Yeah, that's the really funny part, is that the goal of the tax study is to try and figure out the best way to convince you that they need more of your money in 2011. So they're using your tax dollars to fund a tax study to figure out how to get more of your taxes.
But they don't have the money to fund something that would tell us what they're actually doing with that tax money.
Exactly.
Well, it sounds like the government certainly is failing to take the lead on this issue. So where's the hope there for Nevada citizens? I mean, where can they go to find out what is government doing with the money they're taking from you?
Well, the best place right now is transparentnevada.com, and it's a project of the Nevada Policy Research Institute. And what we've done is we've written records requests to the cities and the counties and the state and gotten all this information that's publicly available if you go through this long and arduous process, and we've put it online so other people don't have to go through this long and arduous process. TransparentNevada.com, it's got salary data for state and county workers, it's got comprehensive annual financial reviews for school districts and the counties. It also has a blog so citizens can discuss transparency issues, find out about how transparency is going on in other states. It's really a good one-stop shop for transparency news in Nevada, TransparentNevada.com.
All right, Victor, good stuff. Thanks very much. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this week's edition of Talk on Nevada. I'm Andy Matthews. Join us on the web. npri.org is the address for more information on this topic and other private solutions to public challenges facing our Silver State. Also want to remind you, September 23rd, just 2 weeks away, MPRI's 18th anniversary celebration at the Venetian. Carl Rove will be the keynote speaker. Tickets are still available online. Thanks. We'll see you next time.